In celebration of International Women's Day, we've been talking to some of the talented women at Blue Sky Education about their successes.
So obviously International Women's Day is a great day to have one day where we can look at all the achievements, but at Blue Sky Education we get the chance to look at the amazing things that women are doing all year round, and we work with some amazing deans, female deans, amazing female professors, and as I said, very specific research that focuses on women's role within society. So yeah, it's kind of International Women's Day every day here, I think, sometimes.
It's not just working in PR, it's working specifically within business and higher education that keeps things interesting and keeps us learning. I think through this job, I have now become, a secondhand expert on AI and automation, on remote working, on mental health, on climate change, on all sorts of topics that I wouldn't have dreamed that I'd have knowledge about. So you always learn something new in this job. You have access to some fantastic faculty and some incredible experts, and you get to share their ideas with them and put them out into the world.
So when I first joined Blue Sky, there was a few new people at the same time. And one of the women I worked with, her first language wasn't English. So I would often help her just with how she wrote, just to sort of tweak stuff, make it sound more natural. And that was the first moment, one of the first moments for me, where I learned how to help someone and support someone without being patronising, without any level of hierarchy, just saying, this is fantastic. If you just tweak that, it flows a little bit better. And that has stayed with me to this day, of being able to help and support the women without any sense of your work's not good enough, you need to improve. It's very much building on what fantastic individuals they are already. On the client side, we work with academics from all over the world. Now, these academics have been working in incredible institutions for years. I'm talking Imperial, UCL, LSE, Harvard, Stanford. It's academics that come from those backgrounds, and it's working with them on a level and supporting their careers, whether they're already at that top stage, how can they get it further? How can they help their research to make a difference in the world, especially when it's things around supporting women in leadership positions or the gender pay gap. It's those things that we really try to support them to share even further.
Happy International Women's Day. I've been so fortunate in my life to meet so many women that have inspired me, from colleagues to clients to academics. But there are two graduates from the UCL School of Management who have really stood out for me. After graduating with a degree in entrepreneurship, they went on to set up their own drinks company, and they sell their drinks all over the world. They've been really successful. They've entered into a space which is dominated by men, and they've been able to leave their own mark. They're creative, entrepreneurial, and they're really motivated. I feel like they've gone against the mould. I just find that so inspirational.
I think one of my favourite things about working at Blue Sky is definitely to work with some of the top academics across the world. I know two strike out straight away for me. The first is Professor Pia Pinger from the University of Cologne. She does a lot of research into the gender pay gap, which is something I think is really interesting. And to be part of sharing that research and to be part of the change that people are trying to do in terms of the gender pay gap is something that I really enjoy.
Work with some amazing business schools that produce some really great research about women all year round and how they can have such an amazing effect on society and especially within the workplace as well. And one piece of research that really stands out for me is a piece that we did with Neoma Business School a couple of months ago about how having more women on the board leads to better company performance. And this did really well in the media, and I think it was just such a great piece of research to look at because it just showed you how differing from different countries, how having more women within your team can really add value to your company overall. So yeah, that was a really standout piece for me that looked at women in particular.
I suppose the key things are becoming Associate Director of Blue Sky Education. I'm extremely proud of that. And I feel like the successes have led up to this point, even going back to my childhood. Like, we're talking about International Women's Day, but both my parents set fantastic role models. They both worked hard. My dad did an exec MBA in the early 90s, and he always spoke to me about it. And it wasn't like, oh, you're a girl, you can't read this Henry Mintzberg book. So I never felt like I didn't have an opportunity to progress in my career, and going to university and getting a first class degree, I've always been super proud of. It doesn't matter how many years it's been.
In terms of my proudest moment, I think just in getting the best coverage possible for my clients and seeing how happy they are with it.
So I think looking back now over that career and how I've grown professionally, taking on different roles, and the fact that I've carved a career for myself that I still really enjoy in an avenue that I wasn't expecting to follow. I think that's a huge accomplishment, and that's something that makes me feel very proud looking back.
I think for me, making sure you go into a career that you're really passionate about is so key. I think your education can only get you so far, and I think simple things like working hard, putting the effort in, and actually enjoying what you do is really important. And they're things that you can't buy, they're things that you just need to have. And I think in this industry especially, I feel like that's been really invaluable to me, and that's why I've seen the success that I have over the last few years.
Well, I'd like to wish everyone a very happy International Women's Day, and that we should continue to support growth and progress for women and for human beings in general, making sure that the world's a better place going forward. Absolutely.